What is up, guys? Dawson Weidrich, nerdy in many ways, and college football is back. I am so stoked, very excited, and there were so many good games on this weekend that, oh my gosh, it made me realize how much I missed football during this summer, and I guess during winter as well. And today I'm just going to talk about some of my reactions to some of the games and results. I'm not going to discuss all of them because that would take forever, much longer than the 15 minutes that I can really afford to put on YouTube. But anyway, I'm just going to talk about a few of those games and my reactions to them. So first off, I want to start off with Clemson and Georgia Tech. Now, of course, Clemson coming into this season being number one in the polls for the first time beginning of the season in school history. And so a really cool moment for them, of course, being the returning national champions. They were highly favored against Georgia Tech and really didn't disappoint, scoring 52 points and playing astounding defense. Travis Etienne had a phenomenal game with basically 150 rushing yards in the first half and really putting his name out there for Heisman contention. And people are talking about how Trevor Lawrence kind of disappointed, which you could argue that for sure. I mean, his stats necessarily weren't the best. He had 162 passing yards to only go along with one touchdown. But in my opinion, there's no reason to panic with Trevor Lawrence because, again, he's still a sophomore in college. He's 19 years old, for goodness sakes. He's way younger. He's 3 years younger than I am. And to be at that level and to performing as highly as he has to a certain extent is really impressive all on its own. And if he was going to have an off game, might as well have it against Georgia Tech where you win by 45 points, right? And so, again, I'm not too worried about Trevor Lawrence. I feel like he's going to really bounce back. And once they get into really the tougher parts of their schedule, he's really going to start to thrive again and really get back into the motion of things. The next one I'm going to be talking about, my Boise State Broncos, my team. Man, I love them and I also hated them during this Florida State game because, I mean, it was a big game. If you guys didn't know, this game was originally supposed to be taking place in Jacksonville at 7 p.m. on Saturday, and then because of Hurricane Dorian, I would make sure that everybody in Hurricane Dorian is safe. Be careful out there. They had to move the game from 7 p.m. to noon, and then all the way out to Tallahassee, where Florida State is. And so it basically ended up being a home game for Florida State. And Florida State's a team that's really looking for a redemption year. In the first half, it really looked like they were on a mission. Scoring 31 points in the first half, Boise State had a really hard time with tackling, and their offense was pretty good and consistent. It's just they had some simple mistakes that cost them, and they only ended up with about 19 points in the first half, which, considering how poorly a defense they were playing, it was a miracle they were only down by 12. Absolute miracle. And then their freshman quarterback, Hank Bachmeier, I mean, look out for this kid. This guy was consistent all day long, even though he had defenders in his face. Throwing for 407 yards, leading for a comeback win against Florida State. Ended up winning 36-31. Boise State's defense did not let them score in the second half after giving up 31 points in the first. And first half, I was having a heart attack. Second half, I was just jumping up and down, super pumped, because you could just kind of feel the comeback coming on. And then, of course, we have Alabama, who for some reason likes to tease the people that don't like them by not scoring in the first half against Duke and then just going off in the second half and just saying, like, well, you're welcome. It's like, dang it. I mean, of course, Alabama's a great program. Don't get me wrong. I'm definitely not one of the people that likes them right now. I'm not a huge fan of Nick Saban, regardless of how great of a coach he is, which he is. He's a fantastic coach, and Tua Tagovailoa is really impressive. And so, again, Alabama just likes to tease us. And then, of course, I feel like the game of the day besides Boise State and Florida State was Auburn and Oregon. You know, we had Bo Nix, who he was so inconsistent all day. He's the freshman quarterback for Auburn against Justin Herbert, who is the experienced Heisman contending quarterback from Oregon. And Oregon just looked like they had control of this game most of the way. Like, you didn't really feel like there was any danger of them losing this game. They were making a lot of great plays. They had the lead for a long time. I believe it was by 15 points for most of the game. And then Auburn all of a sudden just pops back in. And then with 6 seconds left, Bo Nix throws a dagger of a touchdown to beat Oregon. And, I mean, holy crap. I mean, I watched that in my bed. I was on my phone because, turned off the TV, had it on my phone in my bed, and I watched the last second touchdown pass, and I was like, holy crap. That's when you know college football's back. It's when plays like that happen, and the excitement fills, ESPN, your time, or your news feed and everything, and everybody's just talking about, holy crap, that's a fantastic game. And so again, I'm really stoked for this season. And the last game I want to talk about is, of course, Oklahoma and Houston. Jalen Hurts starting his first game as Oklahoma Sooners quarterback, and he had a fantastic game. I mean, he played really well. Of course, it wasn't as much of a blowout points-wise as we would expect, but you felt Oklahoma was in control the entire time. And what cracked me up is Jalen Hurts' interview after their game. He wouldn't even smile. He was just so disappointed in the mistakes and small things that they didn't do right. And so he wouldn't even crack a smile, even after, having more yards and touchdowns in a game, I guess an opening game as a starter, than any of the past Heisman winners for Oklahoma has. And it goes to show that's what happens when you're in Alabama for most of your career. You expect complete perfection, and if one little thing's wrong, you're not happy. And so that's very respectable for Jalen Hurts. I'm still not a huge fan of his, but I respect the attention to detail and the desire to have that perfection in your game, which, of course, being against Houston, although it's a good squad, is not necessarily a team you want to be close with on the scoreboard. Of course, them trying to make a playoff push. And so that's just a couple of my opinions and analysis on some of the games this weekend. I'm going to hope to do this every weekend for the college football and maybe for NFL. I don't know. We'll see how you guys think about this, my breakdown of these things. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure to like and subscribe to this channel, as well as like my pages, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that jazz. And stay tuned for more videos. See you guys next time.